I see is like smoke coming from behind the castle.
It's time for 2 Finger Point.
I'll never ride the ride the same way again.
Get your mouse ears ready.
We're keeping the people of Vista Way safe.
You're welcome.
Here are your hosts, Amber, Kylie, and Nicole.
Finger Point Podcast. We're your hosts, Kylie, Amber, Nicole. Ready to give you all the news.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know where that... It's coffee, guys. I'm sorry.
Oh my gosh. Did you guys dream about that as kids? Like being on Disney Channel and drawing your own ears?
Oh, yeah.
No.
No? I always dreamt like, hi, I'm Kylie and you're watching Disney Channel. Like that was my life's purpose.
When it came on the TV and they were about to do it, I would like, as a kid, I'd like stand up wherever I was, like on the couch or the bed, and I'd like pretend to do it. But I never like, I don't know. It was just like in the moment, let's just do it. And then I was done.
Okay, she didn't dream of doing it. She just did it.
I just did it.
Oh
No, I had like a color because everyone had a color too. Like I noticed like a lot of them, they would change colors after a while. And I was like, well, I want a purple one. They have a purple wand. Why don't I have a purple one?
It's so funny now, like in today's technology, you actually can make those things yourself instead of these big Disney producers doing it. Like there's filters that let you do it so we can live out our dreams.
Isn't there like a TikTok filter, I think?
Yeah, you have to do it with your nose, but yeah. I feel like we should all do that as a challenge.
That would be funny.
I feel like we are Disney adults, but recently I've learned like we're at the very bottom tier of Disney adults. Have you
we haven't even scratched.
Like I thought we were the Disney adults because we wanted to go work at Disney and live out the Disney life. And now that I'm back on social media, influencing about Disney is a thing now. I just see there are just extreme levels for adults.
Oh yeah, there's two. I mean, they've got, I don't know if you guys have heard the Disney gangs. That's like, and it sounds sketchy, right? It sounds like, oh my God, like a gang at Disney, but it's like, it's just quite literally these groups of people who get together who just like love Disney so much that they just go like periodically throughout the year together. And they've got like gear, like jackets, vests. I mean, they have logos. It's pretty intense.
Yeah, you think it's just like a family with matching shirts, but that's not the case.
It's like that, but like to an extreme.
Right.
Like they take it to the next level.
Yeah, because I remember Rebel Wilson talking about this a couple weeks ago when she was being interviewed about getting suspended from Disney for 30 days. And she's like, oh yeah, there's gangs. So I'm like, I want to see what these gangs look like because I figured they were like super nerdy. But they look a little scary. Like I wouldn't want to mess with them. They've got like the denim jackets with the embroidery, like a biker gang.
Yeah, no. So when I worked at Disney, like during the like college program, I saw them periodically. But like, yeah, you would see them, and it'd be so funny because like you said, like biker gangs, it'd be like these older like dudes that are like buff, like biker dudes with the beards and these like denim vests, and they would come up to like quick service and you think, oh my God, are they going to like be mean? And they'd be like, hi, we want da-da-da hamburger. And you're like, oh my God, you were just obsessed with Disney. You just look really scary. But it was really jarring to see for the first time because I was like you said, like you thought, oh wow, you know, I'm an older person who likes Disney. You know, I like Disney. I grew up with Disney, but they take it to the next level and they are like hardcore.
Yeah, did I read that they have to pay to be in it?
What?
Some of them, yeah. Some of them, I think. Here, like, let me look up. Like,
I thought some of them said that you have to pay.
Mm-hmm. Some of them,
like, it's a certain amount of like a membership fee almost.
Yeah, they have like they come up with their own like gang name, logo, and like.
So why did Rebel Wilson get in trouble? She took a picture, right?
Yeah, she took a
Selfie?
selfie in a secret bathroom.
Yeah, because so her gang, the gang, I should say lightly, that she's a part of, is something called the Disney Illuminati. And so I was reading up on this too. And supposedly, for like a lot of celebrities and public figures, they have their own club and exclusivity within Disney. So they can come to the park at certain hours where people aren't there, so they can ride the rides and stuff, and they aren't like bombarded by fans and things. And she confirmed in this article that the Illuminati was something that existed, and she was in one of those bathrooms taking a selfie. So that was where she got banned. But it was kind of funny because I also read like they were like really nice about it because she didn't really do anything wrong, and they were like, so what days are you going to be off in another country filming that you can't come to Disney because we're just going to ban you for those days. So I thought that was kind of cool because she really didn't do anything wrong.
But what's the point? I don't get it.
I like, which part? The point of banning her or the point of the like Illuminati?
The banning her. Like, if you're gonna just be like, hey, when are you not gonna be here anyway, then what's the point? Like, oh, we really gotta stick it to her.
I guess somebody probably in this gang was probably like, you got to punish her for doing that because like she's not supposed to. So somebody probably snotty was like, do something about it. And she didn't do anything wrong. So they were like, okay, let's just ban you.
I thought it was Disney. It's her gang that did it.
Well, so Disney banned her, but I think the like Illuminati is like one because there's Disney gangs I read, and there's Disney social clubs. And I think the social clubs are affiliated within Disney somehow. And I think the gangs are like their own thing. So I think because this is like a social thing, something with like the way that the organization works is like if you do certain things or don't do certain things, Disney can get involved because they're a part of Disney somehow.
Okay. So I thought when she was saying the Illuminati, I thought she was talking about the Club 33.
Oh,
Do you know what that is?
I kind of here. Let me do a little.
So it's like a secret club thing. It's like a lounge, kind of like in the airports, how you have the VIP lounges for like platinum members. It's kind of like that, except I think it's $50,000 you have to put down to just go in, and then it's like 10,000 a month or something like
I just
that.
looked at it. It's 25 to get in and then 10,000 a month. That was my face.
Okay, yeah, it's just absurd amount of money. So obviously that shows you who can get into this club. And there's like a waiting list that's like years. But yeah, basically you just get this in New Orleans Square is where it's located, and it's obviously not marked, but
So Club 33 is, which I think is what she was calling the Disney Illuminati, is basically what this is. This is legitimately affiliated with Disney. Like when I clicked on the membership thing, it goes to disneyworld.disney. So it's like within the Disney website.
Because I remember during my traditions class, they gave us a tour at Magic Kingdom, and they pointed it out. They said right here is, oh my God.
Did you really just finger point?
Yeah, she did. She did.
Oh my God.
I'm just doing my impression.
10 years later,
right
still
here.
got it.
It does come out sometimes, like if I'm being super professional or whatever, I'll be like, yes, that way, and then I like shake my hand.
Oh my God.
But anyway, I remember her saying, like, it's right here. This is Club 33. It's this exclusive club, and told us like the price points and stuff.
I remember during my traditions, they might have said this, but I wasn't listening. I was actually doing the exact opposite of what they told us to do. So they said, do not take pictures. Put your phone in your pocket. Don't do that. I was doing that.
Oh no.
And so, I got yelled at. Yeah, whoever it was that was taking us around, she was like, put your phone away now or I'll take it. And I was like, and I still have the picture. It's my phone background, I think, right now, because it was such a good picture. It was nighttime, and it was the castle just all lit up in like the purples and blues and pinks, and it was just this really blurry picture, but it looked really pretty. So I was like, suck it.
Your traditions was at night?
Yeah, the walk around the park ended up being at night for us for whatever reason.
Wow.
Yeah, it was random. I don't remember why. Oh yeah, because we were tiered off. Remember, like you didn't go to traditions the same time I did. We were all tiered off at different times.
Yeah.
Mine was really early in the morning.
Yeah, I remember mine being super early too.
Yeah, mine wasn't until later. And then we sat in the classroom. And the thing was, I didn't even get my ID originally. Like they were like, we don't have an ID for you. And I was like, cool. So I guess I'm not a cast member.
Really?
But then like, yeah, no, they just didn't have it. And like halfway through, like, cause Mickey would hand them to you. Like,
Uh-huh.
I didn't get that opportunity. They like, I just sat there, and then like in the middle of like while they were talking, they like just quietly, some cast member just came in and like set down like an ID in front of me and like walked away. And I was like, well, that's good at least.
How magical.
Right?
I was
So secret.
Yeah. Well, I was mad and I was like, oh my God, did I not do something right? Like I was so worried that like, because I would, I was like, what did I do wrong? And I was like, am I gonna have to go home?
Oh yeah, because I remember it was a big thing. Like you sit through the traditions class, and at the very end of it, Mickey comes in and he gives you like your name tag and your ID. Like
I
it
don't
was
think
a
we're supposed to tell
big.
them that though. I think that was supposed to be a surprise. I think we're supposed to cut that out.
I mean,
I think
people have
Unless
talked about
that
it
was-
online, but we can cut it out.
That was 10 years ago, though, so it could have changed.
That's a good point too. I just remember like you weren't supposed to talk about it back then. Yeah, 10 years ago.
People talk like it's a whole different world now. Like people document live on these Instagrams
True.
and the YouTubes. I've seen people like be like, "Here's my experience at traditions," and they talk about the whole thing. And I'm like,
You weren't supposed to do any of that. I remember
Yeah.
they said do not take any video.
I
of
don't think we
anything
signed an NDA or anything, so I
It
think we're
wasn't.
good.
That's a good point.
No, oh, I remember what we did have to sign. It was if we share any of our ideas, like for a new character or any concept, if we said it out loud, it was Disney's property. We had no IP over it. By signing that, we surrendered any of our ideas to the Disney company. So
No.
they owned our brains.
Amber's like, no.
I know.
That's the
Just
thing
no.
we signed. Yeah, I was like, if I have any ideas, I'm keeping my mouth shut.
Yeah, the answer to that is no. I'm not going to share. I love you, Disney, but God. Apparently, I didn't read the fine print that fine because I was like, here, just whatever.
I don't think I did either. Was it traditions where we learned about the 2-finger point, or was that on the job?
I think it was at traditions.
I think it was traditions.
It was like a standard thing.
Because that whole
Or the
class
whole
was
part.
yeah, and it was like a whole that tradition, and that is a tradition on top of it. But like that was like a whole because they gave us the history of Disney and Walt Disney himself and how like everything came to be. So I think that was where they taught us that.
Oh, yeah. And the 2-finger point, for those of you that don't know, it's because you don't want to point with one finger because it's rude.
That's all.
Unless, is that what you guys learned?
Finger being rude. Good call.
Good call. That's what I was told. 2 fingers because you don't want to do one because that's rude.
Yes.
Yeah.
They told us that, and they said like because in a lot of other countries it's considered extremely rude to point with one finger. So to be respectful of all countries. And then also side note, Walt Disney used to smoke cigarettes too. So when he would point, he had a cigarette in the middle of his finger. So he would point like this. Now I don't know how true that necessarily was. They say some people debunk that and say that wasn't necessarily true, but
I feel like it's true because they said that in traditions, at least in my class. I remember them talking about him smoking. And then in all the documentaries, like even what's that movie, Saving Mr. Banks? They projected him as a guy that smoked. So
well then I don't know why people were like,
yeah, I think people just have this image of Walt. And the thing is, he lived his life. He lived it, and from what I've heard, he had a rough childhood. So he picked up a habit. It doesn't make him a bad guy.
He's not the only person who's ever smoked ever.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, come on. He was the founder of Disney. He deserved to smoke. Come on.
He did something right. Okay.
Yeah. Oh my God, traditions. I have actually a couple pictures of that. You know what? One of me and Kylie's roommates, we went on the bus together to traditions, but at some point we got separated because I think they separated you by park or something like that.
Maybe.
Can't remember. But she was on the bus with me.
Is that the one we liked or didn't like?
Didn't like. That was
Yeah. We're gonna have to like have a code name.
We're gonna have to change their names. Yeah, we can't just have their names. That was I don't even have a name for her yet.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
So we're
yeah.
not mean people. We have stories that we'll share too. So
yeah, we're very likable and we're very kind and very easygoing. It's just like when you get to a certain point and someone pushes you and it's like, what about my comfortability too? So it's kind of like, I mean, and you guys can all judge too. Maybe we were the asshole. It's like we can do an episode and say like, were we the asshole? Like, Reddit, like, am I the asshole?
We could.
Like,
but I take it as there were 4 of us that got along, and there were 2 that did not get along with anybody. And our room was the kind of safe haven when those two people we did like couldn't handle their roommate anymore. They'd come hide in our room and we'd be like, here's some Nutella, here's a mango Rita, enjoy.
Oh my God, mango Ritas. What a
You remember
throwback.
that you had
Yes.
always had them in our room.
Okay, and just for context, guys, I was the snack queen. If you needed food, all you had to do was go underneath my bed because there was this whole, I had a bin
She had
that
a bin. A
Oh my
just
bin.
gosh.
slid out of just all these snacks because so my grandmother, she lived out on the outskirts of Orlando. So like I'd go to her and she'd be like, here, take all these snacks back with you. So I'd like come back with all these snacks and be like, Kylie, it's under the bed, just grab them.
Yeah, but think about it. When you're living with people you've never met before, there's six of you in a small apartment, people from all over the world who are ranges from 18 to 22. You're bound to have some things happen.
Yeah, I consider myself so lucky to share a room with Amber. It kind of worries me though, because we've been friends for almost 10 years and we've never had a fight. And it's like, what's the problem here? Because we don't have conflict. But
It's true.
yeah, I got super lucky.
It was,
But
oh my gosh. And we can tell about the whole experience of how I got there because we weren't
yeah,
originally roommates together. I showed up at her door. I was a little lost soul that needed a place to live.
it was kind of happy. So
Yeah.
I'll tell the before you got there. So
Oh, yeah.
the first day, one of our roommates who we liked, she was just not making a definitive decision of what room she was going to take. And the two gals that got their own bathroom to share between the two of them had already gone in there and claimed it. And so it was us two that walked in, and we had two bedrooms to choose from. So she put some of her stuff in one room and then some of her stuff in another room and was just kind of pacing around. And I went into just the first room and put my stuff down, started unpacking. And then our fifth roommate came in and she decided to room with her. And I'm not going to say why. I had my suspicions and she confirmed them later, but I'm not going to say on air. But yeah, so I was by myself. And at first I was like, cool, I got my own room. I get my own closet. I get my own dresser, whatever. And then that night when we were all going to bed, I was like, oh, I'm kind of sad. Like, I don't get that dorm mate. And for me, I went to community college, so I didn't get the dorm experience. So I was kind of looking forward to it, even though most people wouldn't. But yeah, so then I'll let Amber take away and share her before.
Yes. Okay. So as we know, I was moved into Vista Way. And so my first apartment, I got to live right next to the bus station. So that was super fun. Like my window literally catty-cornered to where every single person would get on and off the bus. And at all hours of the night. So like partying 2 a.m., everyone coming back stumbling drunk, heard it all because it was right underneath me. People leaving for work the next morning, heard it all, etc. So me and the girl who lived in with me, we were like, okay, this is not going to work even before we slept there the night before. So we called Disney and we're like, hey, this is like not a vibe. Like, and we were both over 21 too. So on top of it, we're like older and we're like, nah, if we're going to be working like, a bunch of hours, we need to be able to sleep. So we called them. We're like, yo, this is not going to work. We can't stay here. And they're like, okay, well, if we move you guys are going to get separated. We're like, that's fine. We don't care. We've met each other for like 10 hours. Like we don't know each other that much. And so they're like, okay, we'll stay there one night. And then if it still doesn't work, call us in the morning and we'll try to go ahead and move you guys and separate, like put you guys somewhere else. So we slept there. We hated it. We're like, no, we're leaving. And so we called them the next day and they're like, okay, we're separating you guys. Here's your apartment numbers. Go meet your new roommates, basically. Go find them. And so that's what we did. We both walked together and I walked up to Kylie's apartment and knocked on the door. And it was nighttime at this point. They had waited the entire day to give us like where we were going for whatever reason. So we walk up, I open the door and there's like a party going on in there. And she's like, hey, what's up? And I'm like, hi, I'm your all's new roommate. And she's like, great. Do you want a strawberry daiquiri? And I was like, Yes.
Yeah, we were just like, oh, let's drink, let's have daiquiris, and then we just hear like, and we're like,
I know, they
what's
probably
going
thought-
on? And then Amber walked in. Yeah, so we're like, hey, have a daiquiri.
That was so funny. And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna be moving in. And then I think, did I move in that night? Yeah, I did, right? I was like, I'm gonna just go get my shit. I was like,
I think it was the next day.
what? Oh, so I did sleep there 2 nights. Okay. In that other apartment.
But
I like didn't sleep long. I was like, I'm moving.
Yeah, I just remember like going to bed that night and being happy that I was going to have somebody in there the next day. And she looked like Princess Jasmine.
Oh,
Aw. Were you guys on the top floor of Vista Way?
Yeah.
Third floor? We were too.
yeah, actually in both of the apartments, like my first one was like directly at the third. Yeah. So I didn't, yeah, they screwed me both times.
Oh, see, when we moved with, I think, a month and a half left. We moved to like the first floor. So that was kind of cool.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
So was
But
it fine? Because I imagine the first floor you're going to hear everybody that lives above you.
Yeah, so when we lived on the first floor, it was the apartments where it was only 2 bedrooms. So it wasn't that bad. And at that point, I feel like a lot of people, like you said, have kind of been termed. So it was pretty quiet towards the end of the program. So it wasn't bad at all. But when we first moved into our third floor one, the bedroom with the bathroom was already taken. So we were like, okay, we have one of two options. So then we picked the next biggest bedroom. And I was fortunate enough to room with my college roommate. So there was no surprises there other than who was living with us.
That's good. That actually works out. At least it wasn't like your college boyfriend, like some people like to bring with them. And it was like, why would you bring your college boyfriend to an internship that no.
So that's another story.
That's a whole nother story. And I mean, I have no room to talk because
No, I think that one was way different. You didn't bring, okay, so what happened? We'll just say what happened.
Yeah.
Should we name her?
I was gonna say it, but it sounded bad because it just didn't sound good.
How about Lisa?
I was thinking the other way, like they do like Superman. Like I was thinking like if I could call her something, but yeah, Lisa is good.
Oh, let's do Lisa. So I'll have to make notes.
Mine didn't come out great because I was like, oh yeah, why did she work on? And then I thought about it and I was like, oh no, that sounds bad. We can't call her that.
No, let's not make them identify.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
Because I thought about that too, but then yeah, we'll call her Lisa. And we'll call her boyfriend. What do we call her? Rufus.
Oh, Gossip Girl.
Because, well, no, not Gossip Girl. Remember, people called him the naked mole rat.
Yep.
Oh man.
I forget who thought of that. Somebody in the house was like, he looks like a naked mole rat, and so that was his code name. Anyway, so okay, Lisa comes to the DCP with her boyfriend Rufus, and it was very clear that she never said this to us, but we could just tell that she was kind of hoping to break things off and have a fresh start at the DCP. But in a twist of events, he also applied and got accepted and followed her to the DCP. So it was just very awkward. You could tell he was holding on for dear life in their relationship, and she was very distant. And it was just very awkward. I remember one time they were talking about entering the talent show as a duet, and they were musician, thespian people. And so she wanted to sing Just Give Me a Reason by Pink and the guy from Fun. And do you remember this, Amber?
Yes.
So she grabs her keyboard and song was huge at the time, and she starts playing the melody, and he goes, no, no, no. And you could just tell that he knew the relationship had expired and he was not ready to accept it. And eventually she did break it off with him, and she had a different guy in the apartment every day after they broke up, and we were just very uncomfortable with it.
But hearing this story makes me realize that, for the record, so my ex at the time, we're going to call him Broken Mirror. So Broken Mirror had he had the time to get himself accepted, would have done the exact same thing.
Really?
You know, he would have.
I'm just kind of surprised he didn't.
He didn't have enough time. He didn't know because by the time he realized I was going was at the point I told him when I got accepted, which meant there was no more time for him to go back and do the whole process because being accepted meant they had made all their decisions for everybody they were going to pick.
Mhm.
And so I didn't tell him until because I was wondering what I was going to do about telling him. So he had no option. He couldn't follow me. So I got lucky.
Oh.
But yeah, had I given him the opportunity, he would have followed me for sure.
Do you think if he did follow you, because for the listeners who don't know this, he was very insecure and didn't really want you going out much. Do you think if he was there, you would have been able to go to the parks and events more?
Yes. And I think him being there actually could have been beneficial. I think it would have probably stopped our relationship way sooner than it actually did end. I think it would have, because there I had more people to rally around me. Like I had you and I had just people who he would have had to face head on, who would have been like, we don't know you and we don't like this, but we know her. And this is, you don't treat people like that. Whereas like a lot of my friends, I think had kind of, and it's like nothing against them, but I think they had kind of not really, they were blinded by a lot of it, you know, because they were friends with him and stuff too. It was like everyone was kind of commingled. So whereas like people who didn't really know him or didn't really have any like preconceived notions, it's kind of like if they would have seen him being kind of an asshole, it's like, okay, no reason for you to be. It would have, I think it would have been a good thing in a roundabout way for me, but yeah, it didn't work out that way. But, you know, he would have had a mirror held to him, I think is what it would have been.
Yeah.
But he's gone, thank God. You know, like I said, broken mirror because 7 years of bad luck. So, you know, if it's not good, get out.
I just remember he would FaceTime you and you would be like, oh yeah, Kylie's in the room. And I would be like, hey, and you could just tell he did not like that.
No, because that was when he knew he had to be pinned up. That was, yeah, because he would, you know, yeah, it is, it is. He would say what he wanted to say. He, you know, felt like when no one was listening, he could say whatever he wanted to. But when Kylie and I were in the same room, he had to kind of mute himself per se or edit himself because he knew there was nowhere I could go. And wherever I was, she was going to hear me. And it wasn't like I could do anything about it.
Always here to help.
Yes, exactly. Thank God.
Now I feel like we're gonna have to do an episode about like the nightlife and just like activities you could do. I turned 21 down there, so my first couple weeks there I was under 21, and then I turned 21 a couple weeks in and my experience was completely different.
Yes. Did you ever go to that bar that had the different musics on different levels? Like it was like, you did? Okay.
Oh my gosh, that was so cool.
Where was that?
I don't
just
know.
a preview. It was like not Disney downtown, like maybe Orlando downtown.
Yeah.
Or like South. I don't remember. But like every floor had a different theme. But then on the bottom floor, they had alcoholic slushies and they were all $1. So I was like, I like this place.
Oh
this is awesome. I'm going to have to try to remember what it was called because definitely recommend going there.
Our YouTube audience, if you know what she's talking about, make sure to comment so we know where this is.
A lot of the drinks were sexually named.
Wait,
if that helps.
Was this not the same bar that you two went to together? Because I remember you and
no, we went to Cowboys.
That's what it was.
Yeah, and that had line dancing, and that was really fun. And every week they had some sort of like a bikini contest, and one week it would be male, and the next week would be female.
It was weird.
Oh my! It was Orlando.
Yeah, it was just weird.
Orlando.
Like, why are all these half naked people? Why are we? I just want to dance.
And we saw Jamie Lynn Spears there.
Yeah, it was free. We did not pay for it. It was a free concert.
Yeah.
No. But did you get a picture? Did you have pictures?
We got pictures with each other. But no.
Oh no, I meant like of her, like just of her.
It's super blurry. I did have some, but they're very blurry because we were in the very back.
But that one was cool because you could learn all different kind of line dances, and everybody was super fun with trying to teach you. And every song, no matter the category, it didn't even have to be country. It could just be whatever song, and there would be a line dance to it.
dude. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, I missed out on so much. I really did. There was so much cool stuff going on down there.
And House of Blues was fun too.
Yes.
I went there
On
once or twice. It was fun.
Oh, did you
That
go
was-
on Sundays?
I thought it was Wednesdays.
Or was it Wednesdays? Where they had women drink for free from 10 to midnight.
That's
Okay.
probably when I went. Yeah.
Okay. I thought that was a Sunday thing, but
Maybe
maybe
it
I'm
was.
wrong.
Well, what was Wednesday night then? Because something was Wednesday night. Was that bowling? Bowling happened. I remember there was like a bowling thing.
Something, yeah.
At House of Blues or at the bowling alley across the way?
Well, wasn't it like they were like right next to each other, kind of, right?
Yeah.
So I think it was like you would go bowling and like bowling was, I don't remember. Something happened on Wednesdays.
Like Buffalo Wild Wings? Was that on Wednesday?
Yes.
Kylie, do you remember that?
I don't, because the restaurant at House of Blues was not inside. It was like on the side of it, so it was a separate. Because I
Mhm.
ate there. Actually, my first night of getting there, I made friends with a couple girls in line getting our apartments, and so I met up with them after meeting my roommates, and we went to House of Blues to eat.
Mm.
I remember the food was really good. But then the bar club part was separate. So I don't know if, but they might have had food that they served in there. I don't know. I just drank there. Yeah,
As
I'm
you
just here
should.
for the drinks.
I mean, yeah.
As you should. Yeah.
I would like
no.
drink as much as I could from like 10 p.m. to midnight because it was free. And then after that, I'd be
yeah.
like, okay, I'm good.
I'm fine now. Thank
Yeah,
you.
I feel like I went with a bunch of ODV people. I feel like I went with that core crew. So you might have even been with us.
Yeah, I remember going to Buffalo Wild Wings for like karaoke or something.
Oh, Buffalo Wild Wings was a whole different.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That was, yeah.
There was
Yeah.
something going on like every single night, I noticed. It was like, which was
Mhm.
kind of cool, right? It was like, not everything was a party night, but it was like, I think like 5 out of the 7 nights were party nights.
Mhm.
And like the other 2 nights were just like activities, which you could still drink, but like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
We'll break all this down. Maybe that'll be our next episode is the nightlife in Orlando.
That would be a good one.
Yeah, and activities. We'll have to bring up grocery bingo.
Yeah. We'll do nightlife and Disney life.
Oh, because you know what? It's kind of funny timeline wise right now, just thinking about it. Like a college program should be wrapping up and a new one should be
Mhm.
starting soon because we're ending
You're right.
spring. Spring should be ending about April, and Spring
April or
Advantage
May,
goes.
right?
May,
April,
yeah,
May.
May, I think.
Yeah, it's May, and then we had Spring Advantage, so we were supposed to be there till August.
Yeah.
But then
Oh,
another one,
wow, you were?
yeah,
Yeah. And then I think they do a
Yeah.
short summer one. Or
Oh, they
maybe
do.
that's just international students.
I think that's just the J12.
I don't know what J12 is.
I think
But
that's what they call
I
it.
don't know either.
we had people from Thailand come in like right as the spring left, and they were there for the summer, and then
Yeah,
they were gonna be there through the end of our advantage.
yeah. So that I remember. I think they called them like J somethings because that's what they called the
Oh.
international students, like all of them. And
Okay.
I remember, yeah, they would come in early, like at the before a program would start because they were coming out of country, so they got extra time to be there, and then the program would start with everybody else, but they had already been working for a little bit.
Okay.
So I worked from end of January to mid-May was mine.
Oh, yeah. So
Yeah.
we were advantage. We worked end of January and we were supposed to be there through August, but I left at the end of June.
I think it was mid-June because I left at the very end of May. Like I got
Oh.
home May 30th. I don't know why I remember these dates, but I got home May 30th and it was a 2-day thing. And you left 2 weeks after, right?
Yeah, I have a picture of around the time because I took a picture in that room, like when you weren't there anymore, and I was
Yeah.
just like by myself.
Aw.
I know, so
Oh,
depressing.
it was so funny because we knew somebody was gonna want to hop in that room with her. And so the morning I left, which was like 6 a.m., I woke her up. We put the beds together and she had like a double bed.
Oh, there you go.
So no one would go in there because,
It was so funny.
yeah.
I didn't realize you guys were supposed to stay till August.
Oh, yeah. It was
That's
a
so
long time.
long.
That
I
was
don't-
the thing.
I don't think I could have worked there for that long.
In my
No.
head,
I was like
though,
over it.
Yeah. In my head, though, I was planning to stay. Like that was kind of my way out. Then I realized, yeah, I don't know about this. It's pretty intense and I'm barely scraping by with the money I'm getting. So this isn't going to work out. If I feel like for like an 18-year-old, it's much easier. But by that point, I had accrued some debt. And so I had actual bills to pay.
Plus, it was just kind of like getting back to reality too. It's like we had done our 6 month stint for that point, and it was kind of like, okay, I've seen all I need to see. I've got to get back to normal life.
Yeah. Yeah, that too.
And
Next year in like a Disney bubble.
yeah,
Really?
and it was kind of like having people who were sometimes younger and sometimes not much older than you just yelling at you about the dumbest things. And it was like, why am I sitting here letting you yell at me when there's stuff that I need to go finish? Like, I've got to go finish my college that I came here and did this internship for. Like, and I'm just going to let you yell at me about cooking French fries wrong. Like, gotta go. No, I found like the last picture I took working at Disney, and it's actually pretty depressing. So I was talking with some of my, what did we call them? Coordinators? I can't remember what we called them.
For supervisors, it was
But anyway, they
coordinators,
wrote
yeah.
Amber as member of the century.
Aw.
Yeah. And yeah, and that was 6/9/14. So that was the beginning of June. And that was like the last day that I worked. I went and I self-termed like right after the shift, like the next day.
Oh, wow.
So it wasn't even 2 weeks. Aw.
Yeah,
Couldn't
I was
even
looking.
last 2 weeks without me.
I know I really couldn't. And at that point, it was weighing on me. And because I think once you self-termed, you still had to work like through your schedule or whatever, right? So like if you had another 2 weeks, that was why I was there for 2 more weeks because I had to finish out what they had already scheduled me for.
No, I just went to the office and I was like, hi, I'm self-terming. And she kind of freaked out because it was like the end of her day and she wanted to go home. And she's like, okay, well, just give your ID to the guards.
No, you're right. Because they asked me when I walked in, she was annoyed and she was like, okay, why? And I like gave some bullshit excuse and they were like, what day do you want to leave? And I told them it was like 2 days from then. And like, she's like, whatever. That's what it was. You're right. I had to think about that. No, I didn't have to finish my schedule. That was the last day I worked and I never went back.
Yeah, because when I knew somebody who she put in she wasn't in the DCP. I think she had done it. There was like some term for people who were CPs and then decided to stay full time. I forget what it was, but she was one of those, and she actually got a job as a flight attendant and wanted to take that. So she put in her 2 weeks. And they said just like thank you, but no thank you. And so like I guess it's like a thing. If you are done, you're done. Probably to protect because like Disney's a big industry and they're like protecting their trade secrets.
That and they probably on top of it too, it's like a whole experience for them working for Disney. So if you're miserable working, like they just don't want you to come in and work, right? It's not going to give an experience.
True.
So they'd rather just have somebody else come take your shift because people want it too. Like a lot of these full-time people, they would be mad because we would get hours, but then they didn't want our hours because our hours were really bad. Like you'd work from like 6 to like 2 a.m. or something crazy or whatever. I never worked that, but just.
Yeah. I remember because ours weren't that bad.
No.
You worked at Magic Kingdom, so those magical hours were atrocious for you guys. But for us, it wasn't too bad. I think the latest the park would be open is like midnight.
Yeah, I remember working like 3 to 11:30 or like 3 to midnight.
Yeah, so it was late, but it wasn't 3 a.m. like some of you who worked in Magic Kingdom. So
my hours were typically like 3 to 11 too, but I did get some of those extra magic hours, which we in turn called extra tragic hours.
Yeah.
And I remember it's the sketchiest feeling being in Disney World with there was nobody in the parks, but like the few of us who were on Main Street who had to clean up Main Street and close and leave. And oh my God, yeah, it was the sight of a horror movie. You thought someone was going to come and kill you.
Oh, see, I didn't get that vibe when I worked at Typhoon Lagoon because our shifts were usually like when it opened to when it closed. It opened at 10 in the morning and it closed at 5. So like our shift would be 9 to 5 or 8 to 5. So we would get in there, there'd be no guests, and we'd leave when there were no guests. But it also wasn't dark out. So like it wasn't as creepy.
Yeah.
But it was kind of cool just like walking around and not seeing guests because you could like pay attention to every detail and just explore the park without anybody
Yeah.
there.
See, that would be cool if it wasn't 2 a.m. and you're thinking about somebody coming around the corner to
Yeah.
murder you.
So since our hours weren't that bad, it was easier to give them to those part-timers or those full-timers that wanted more hours. And Disney made it so easy too, because we had a Facebook group where we would just say, hey, does anybody want this shift? And then they would say, yeah, here's my code. And then you would go into Disney's portal and you would just enter in their code and your code, and then they'd go approve it and it's done. Like, you don't need a manager approval or anything. So I did like that a lot.
Ours was like that too. And I think I think the coordinators and managers really didn't want to be a part of it because it got messy. So they were like, yeah, this is the easiest way. Make it so all they have to do is take their like Disney IDs and just plop them in. And then that way, when they pulled it up, it was like, okay, we don't have to deal with it. They don't have to deal with it.
Yeah. Very smart on Disney's end.
Truly.
Right.
Oh, but I remember, do you guys remember the portal when you knew your schedule was coming out? I think it was like Tuesday nights at 11 p.m. That was when
I remember it being a thing where we'd be like, okay, let's see our schedule.
Mhm.
Yeah, everyone would sit down and the website would crash so often too because we were all doing the exact same thing. I can't get in and see my schedule. We're all yelling at each other. Because it would be, because the thing was your schedule would go up to the next day. So you didn't know if you were working or not the next day. So that's why we were all figuring it out, because we got a schedule up until that Monday. And then you were like, I don't know if I work tomorrow.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
So that was why it kept crashing, because it was like,
Gotta know if I need to be there tomorrow.
yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like I was lucky with going from Hollywood Studios to Typhoon because my hours were a lot better. And then also I feel like we almost had set dates of when we were working too.
100%. Like when there was like what, 5, 6 of you that left.
Yeah.
We all were so jealous of all of you.
I don't even know how that even happened, like how we were selected, how they decided, these people were going to go and these people aren't, and this is the park you're going to go to. But because the internship started in January, February wasn't quite warm enough yet for the water parks to open. So that's why in the middle of our internship, we transitioned from Hollywood Studios or wherever park they were to the water park. So it was cool to experience both, but I felt so bad leaving you behind. And some of my other friends, I'm like, can I take you with me?
It was cool though that we knew your schedule because you and Josh were like my homies. And so like we knew if we both could hang out, you definitely could because you were off. And so we'd be like, come over and play cards. Because that's what we would do.
Oh my God, yeah. Oh, and we have some stories with that too. Good times.
Good times. All right. So this week's game is called Eat or Yeet. So it's not necessarily for the win, but we're just going to go through and I'm going to give a Disney food and you choose to eat it or yeet it.
Okay.
I like it.
Okay, so our first one is the Mickey bar.
I'm
I'll eat
hoping
it.
for something better, so I'm going to eat it.
Oh,
Wait,
wait.
there's no limits.
Oh, there's no limits. I can eat
No.
Okay. Okay. I'm like, nah, there's something better coming.
She's like, this is all I get is a Mickey
Oh.
bar. Not with that.
That could have been interesting. Like you could only eat one thing. Oh, that's a good one. Maybe we'll have to play that game later.
I like
Okay, I'm going to stick with my decision though.
You're gonna eat it?
I'm going to eat it. Goodbye.
Why?
I don't know. I feel like there's something better coming. And if I can only eat so much, I got to save the space for the good stuff.
Okay, fair enough. How about you, Amber?
I will eat it. I'm a foodie. I'm gonna eat pretty much anything. Plus it's ice cream, and I like ice cream. But it's a classic too. The Mickey, what do you call it, bar? Like that's,
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm obsessed with ice cream, and yeah, like if it's in my mouth, I'm not gonna be like, oh, this is okay or this is gross. I'm gonna be like, this is actually pretty good.
yeah.
It's simple, but it's good.
It could get messy though. On a
Yeah.
hot
That
day.
is true.
On a hot day.
You gotta eat
But-
it fast.
The hot
And if you're
days.
about to go on a fast ride, I don't know if you want to eat that right before.
Oh.
True.
Okay, anyways, that's why I eated it. Go on.
Yeah, but I'm just thinking about Florida summers and just being stuck in that polyester. I would have killed for a Mickey bar at any point in time.
Yeah,
True.
definitely. On my lunches sometimes, because we had our little break room, but for the whole park, there was a bigger like cafe thing. I forget what we called it, but they sold the Nestle Toll House, the chocolate chip cookie sandwich. I would get that all the time, and it would just, for that 10-minute break I had, it gave me heaven.
Telling you, those Florida summers are no joke, man.
All
Okay,
right.
next food.
Our next food is Mickey pretzel. I'll just say
I'm gonna
it.
eat it with some cheese.
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
gonna just say it. I'm gonna eat it. I was so grateful to get them if we had leftovers. I would get to bring like a whole bag of them home and we'd have food to eat for
Oh, true.
a few days. But they were not good to me at least. But I'm not a big pretzel person either. If I'm gonna eat a pretzel, it's gotta be fresh.
That's fair. Yeah, I mean, my thing is I think I would eat it too. The only reason is it's a pretzel. I'm not that excited about it. Yes, it is Mickey shaped at the end of the day, which is exciting. And that probably would get me in the park just because I'm like, oh, it's Mickey shaped. I have to have it. But at the end of the day, it's a pretzel and I don't care that much. So I feel like I'm better suited with something else Mickey shaped.
Yeah, and they had better pretzels, like the ones that were stuffed with cheese and jalapeno.
Oh, I
Yeah,
had that one.
Those were my jam.
The cheese ones were good.
So
And
yeah, so
then,
Yeet the original,
Mhm.
but yes, eat to the stuffed ones.
yeah, and then I think they had cream cheese, right? And then you could dip that one in chocolate. Oh, okay.
I never had that one. Oh,
Yeah, I had to
You
work
can
the
tell we
pretzel
worked
part.
that one.
Okay, next one. Turkey leg.
Uh.
Let's all say it together. 1, 2, 3. Yeet.
Yeet.
Bye.
I am not a bone in meat type of person. Like,
Watching somebody eat one of those. Ugh.
It was disgusting. I think I
Yes.
only saw one person ever get it, and I was like, ew.
Oh, see, when I worked at the water park, people got it all the time. And it's like, you're literally going into the wave pool and you're buying a turkey leg on the way.
Well,
Like, the
bleh.
whole, just, no, I don't know whose idea it was to put a turkey leg stand near a wave pool, but
yeah, the
that was
only
a
ones
no
I
for me.
saw were on Sunset Boulevard and Hollywood
Mm.
Studios.
oh, see, you guys got lucky. I was in Magic Kingdom. They were everywhere. I
Ugh.
mean, you did just everywhere. I don't think you could walk very far without smelling one of those carts.
Ugh.
And yeah, well, my boyfriend loves them. So every time we get to go to Disneyland, he loves to pick him up a turkey leg. So
Eric,
we get to
come
tear
on.
into that. Ugh, do better, Eric.
All right, next up, the Dole Whip.
I'm gonna say yeet because I'm not a big pineapple person.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That's painful to me. I'm not a
I'm
big pineapple
sorry.
fan either, but there's something about it. I like the taste of pineapple. I just don't like chunk of pineapple. So with it being whipped
Okay.
up like that and just eating it, like I can go to town on it.
I'm gonna eat it too. We just went to Hawaii for our honeymoon in January. I swear, we were there like 5 days, I think. We had like 4 or 5 Dole Whips, and they were from like different places. Like we were just obsessed. They are so good, and they're a little healthier than ice cream. So
Yeah, they're
I love-
refreshing.
yeah, and I love pineapple.
I do like pineapple. I think I just don't like biting into
The
pineapple.
texture,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm a big texture person. Yeah, so this being whipped up, it's
All right, frozen lemonade, eat or yeet.
I'm gonna say eat.
I agree.
Those were
It's-
good on refreshing, like really
Yeah.
hot days.
Yeah, when you're like out there dying.
go yeet because I'm bored with it. Like I did one of the last
Really?
times, yeah, one of the last times I was at Disneyland, I did get a frozen lemonade, and I'm not gonna lie, totally refreshing. But
Like the Minute Maid
bored.
cup ones that you eat with the
Mhm.
spoon.
Yeah, and they even they had flavors too. So I got like a raspberry lemonade
Yeah.
one. It was good. I'm just bored with it. Like I would just rather like if it's hot, I'd rather get a Dole Whip or a Mickey bar, something more exciting. Like I can get a frozen lemonade anywhere. Why am I going to get that inside Disney? Like I'm bored.
True.
That's fair.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the mac and cheese cone.
Oh, immediately eat.
Eat.
Yes.
Like don't share, eat to yourself.
Like hiding it, like, what's that? Don't worry about it.
Get the bacon on top. 100% eat by yourself.
Yeah, we used to make those at the Fantasmic shows, and they were amazing.
Yum. I don't know if I've seen that around here at Disneyland. I wonder if that's just like a Disney World thing, because I would die.
Maybe.
And I think it's just a Fantasmic thing too.
Yeah,
Well, they have Fantasmic here too.
Okay.
Well, so at Disney, it was in Hollywood Studios, and there's a whole theater dedicated to just Fantasmic, and it has the water and everything. So there's like stadium seats, and then we worked in the concession stand there, but it wasn't in use for anything. Whereas Disney, is it still over by like Tom Sawyer's Island and stuff? Yeah, so it's a little different.
Yeah, that makes more sense. Yeah, there would be, you're all just standing in the middle, so there would be nowhere to really have that kind of food.
Yeah, Fantasmic is a thing at Disney World. But we loved working that shift too. Like, it's fun, and you get to watch the show every night.
Depending on what kind of position you're working at Fantasmic. I always got stuck being the person that walked up and down the stairs with the tray that was like latched onto you, and you had to hold up like popcorn or soda because you weren't allowed to yell because it was the show. And it just like, it hurt your back. The thing was uncomfortable. You couldn't really see around the tray. You just had to hope you didn't trip in front of like all these people. But when I actually worked at the concession stands, that was cool.
I think I got really lucky. I only had to do that once. But yeah, you're right. It wasn't fun. People are throwing money at you and you're trying to, it's hard.
Oh,
but working the concession stand's fun because you can watch a show.
Right.
Yeah, being the person with the tray sounds chaotic because like you're trying to give change while other people are trying to grab things out. Like, oh, what do you do if people just start grabbing out of your like case?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they do.
Yeah. Anywho.
Okay, we got two more. The gray stuff.
Wait, what is that?
From Beauty and the Beast. So they have it available at Be Our Guest restaurant.
I don't know if I ever had that when I was there.
I'll explain it to you and you can just decide if you want it or not. It was a chocolate tart, and then the gray stuff was the icing on top. So it was essentially icing. That was gray.
But we're talking about the whole thing.
Yeah. I'll be honest, since I had it, I'm going to
Was it dry?
Yeah, it was dry. And I think either having like a brownie or a cupcake would have been a better holder for the gray stuff because the icing was good, but the tart wasn't my favorite. So I'm going to eat it.
Yeah.
Based on the description, I'm going to say eat.
I tried it. I remember she came home. Kylie had it one time when we were at college program, and she, for some reason, I don't know how she had it, but she brought it home and I tried it. It was good, but it was like nothing that exciting. It was just like, oh, okay, this is the gray stuff. They made something that is kind of gray. But...
All right. And for our last one, candied apples, eat or yeet?
There were so many flavors. I'm going to say yeet, not because they weren't good, but just because they were so messy.
Yeah, I would eat it too. And I wasn't thinking messy, but that's definitely a big one. I'm trying to enjoy something unhealthy.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest candied apple fan. If anything, the worst part is if I bought that, I would just eat the candy off the top of it.
Exactly.
That's what I would do.
Yeah.
So it's why I don't need this.
Yeah.
But they're so pretty. I always see like the poisoned apple ones they do. I'm like, I just almost want to buy them just to like display it.
Yeah, like the artwork is great, but yeah, it's just I want to enjoy something unhealthy and not an apple.
Oh, I got the last time at Disney, I got something called churro toffee.
That sounds amazing.
Oh my God, it was so good. I didn't even know it existed.
I remember the churros, but I don't remember churro toffee.
That must be new.
I think it is. It was in that place off of Main Street, confectionery or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was like in that place.
Thanks everyone for listening, and we hope to catch you next week for our 2 Finger Point Tuesday.
Thank you for listening to today's episode. If you like what you heard, be sure to subscribe, rate, and review the podcast. You can connect with us on Instagram and TikTok by following 2 Finger Point Podcast. That's the number 2 spelled out, TWO, Finger Point Podcast. If you'd like to hear your story, have a question, or even be a guest on the podcast, visit twofingerpointpodcast.com and click on our contact page. We'll see you next week for 2 Finger Point Tuesday, but until then, have a magical day.